Here in this park, this public park in Toronto, Canada, activists are mobilizing, getting ready for a march for a variety of causes, but one thing in common, they're opposed to the G8 and the G20 summits going on right now here in Canada. Now you can see there's a large police presence here. That was the first thing that was the most noticeable when you arrived at this park. There are a number of police on bikes all around the perimeter. We've gotten reports from both police and from activists here that they're searching people. Police report that they have confiscated some rocks and some hammers and that that's the concern. But many of the activists that we've spoken to believe that their rights are being invaded and they're not getting the freedom of speech or the freedom to gather that they're guaranteed under law here in Canada. Now, you can see behind me some of the protesters. Basically, the common theme here is that everybody seems to be opposed to capitalism. Many have different ideas about where they would take that or what they would replace it with. There's a group that are for socialism right behind me. And what you find out here is that though everybody seems to oppose the G8 and the G20, people are rallying for a number of different causes, whether it's women's rights or whether it's gay rights or migrant rights. They all feel like they're not acknowledged by the group of world leaders and economic leaders who are meeting to set policy which they believe their interests aren't reflected in. They believe that these politicians are setting policy based on only a few elite, including corporations, including the rich, and that their interests are really not represented. Now, they're gathering here. They're getting ready for a march through the streets. The actual convention center where the G20 summit will take place beginning tomorrow is actually several blocks from here. Now, we don't know whether they're marching down to the fence yet. None of the activists will share that information yet, either because they're not quite sure if they're going to get there or they're not quite sure where this is all going to go. But with the 20,000 security forces, police officers who have all been dedicated to this, as well as the 5-mile-long, 12-foot-high fence that goes around a large perimeter of downtown Toronto. We were there earlier. It looks like a ghost town. Our cab driver was telling us typically the center of the financial district, there would be tons of people, tons of cars. That's not the case today. But clearly these people want their voices heard. They want their message to get to these leaders who are meeting for the G8 and the G20. And where it goes from there still remains to be seen. Will they take it to the fence? So far, no big conflict has happened there yet between protesters and authorities, but some believe that that may come tonight, and there's large rallies planned tomorrow when the actual summit starts as well. RT here in Toronto, Canada, I'm Lauren Lyster.